Hi, Paul Higgins here. In this tutorial, what we're going to look at is creating charts from something called the Copernicus browser. This browser, the Copernicus browser, it allows you to browse and download satellite imagery from the European Union Space Agency Sentinel satellites. Now, if you want to learn more about those Sentinel satellites, go to your browser and search on Sentinel satellites, and it'll tell you all about them. And there's a whole bunch of them. The first one was back in 2014, and it only provided radar imaging. And then after that, there was the Sentinel-2, and this provided optical imaging. And there was Sentinel-3, 4, 5, and I think there was a 6th one. Now we're going to concentrate on this one because it gives us optical imaging, which we're going to use to create charts. Now if you want to learn more about it, again, go to your browser, search on Sentinel-2, and it'll tell you all about them, and it shows you the bands, and the resolution be up to 10 meters, up to 60 meters, and it tells you more about them down here, and it tells you all about the bands that they cover. In other words, the optical imaging that you can get from them. So that's what we're going to be looking at, and as I say, we're going to look at more of the Sentinel-2 satellites. Okay, what we're going to look at then is how to create a Copernicus account. Before you can use it, you have to create an account. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Then we're going to select the satellite imagery to view. Then we're going to select the imagery date, and then the cloud cover, and then we're going to select what's called a layer, and then we're going to download a TIFF image. Okay, the first thing you got to do is go to the Copernicus browser. So I just got it here, and you click on it, and it comes up with this, which is a map of Europe, and you can log on here, or you can look at it anonymously, but you really can't use the full features of the Copernicus browser unless you log on. So you click this, and if you don't have an account, you have to register one. So you press the register button, and it gives you a form to fill everything in with your name, your last name, and importantly your email address and the rest of it. And once you do that and you register, it's going to send you an email to this here email address. And what we found when you do this is instead of going to your inbox, it will sometimes go to your spam folder. So if you don't get a message right away after you register, check your spam folder, and if it's there, you have to unspam it and put it back in your inbox. Okay, after you're registered, you come back to the logon, and you put in your email address and password, and I'll just stop the video for a second to do. Okay, once you've logged on, it's going to show you something like this. It may show you something that you've been working on already, and what you have to do first is select something, a place that you want to create a chart, an image actually, and from that we'll create a chart. So you can just go to this search box and type in some place, like say Cuba or something like that, or you can use this here draw line icon here, and you can press this here, upload a file, and if you have a KML or a KMZ or a GPX file, you can upload it here and it will go to that place. Now I've actually created a GPX file using OpenCPN. So on OpenCPN I created this here GPX file, this here route here actually, and I downloaded it and put it in a directory, and we're going to use that to actually show the area that we want to create a chart. So if we go back to our Copernicus here, we can just click this and we can upload the GPX file I created on OpenCPN. So just click this and we click open and it loads it. Let's just maximize this again. So there's the area that we want to create a chart. So it shows you that image for it. Okay, after you've got the place where you want to create a chart, the image for it, you want to select the date. So you go to this here slider here, and you select the date. And this happens to be the day before today, and it shows what it looks like here. And you can also select the amount of cloud coverage you want. So you come in here and you select this here slider to select the amount of cloud cover that you want, which may affect the date. So actually I'm going to go back because there's too many clouds here. So I'll go back to another date, and that's not good either. And this one is good, back on the 24th of January. So that's one without too much cloud in it. So we're going to use that one. And then what we do is we come down and we select which satellite we want to use. And there's two choices, the L2A or the L1C. And you select one of them. And I found it really doesn't make much difference. They seem to be about the same. Okay, so we select that. And the next thing we want to do is select a layer. And these are all the layers. So the first one is the true color, which shows right here, the actual true color from the satellite. And if you want to know more information about that layer, you just click this thing, and it shows you true optimized color. Now there's things down here like false color, and there's other ones down here that are used more for vegetation or flood control. So if that's your interest, you would want to select one of those. But we're going to select the true color. Okay, after you've selected the layer, what you want to do is download this here image to your download folder. So you come over here to this download image, and you click it, and it gives you a bunch of choices. The basic one up here. The problem with it only gives you a couple options for the format. So you want to use the analytical one. And the analytical one allows you to select the image format. And we're going to select the TIFF file 16-bit. We're going to make it high resolution. And it's going to be using WS84. And you get a preview down here. Now if you want, you could select something else here. We're just going to leave the true color. And then what you would do is press the download, and it's going to download it to my download folder. Okay, it downloaded this here TIFF image to my downloads folder. And the thing about this TIFF file, it not only has the image, but it has all the georeferencing information to create a chart. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to create a chart from that image. Okay, so now what we're going to do is create an MB tiles chart from that TIFF image that we just downloaded, and we're going to use SATU chart. So here's SATU chart. It's already up and running. And right now it's set to use SAS Planet as the input for creating charts. So we want to change that to a georeferenced image so we can get that TIFF image. And you notice over here it brings up a browser box here that you can select the actual image So that is what we're going to do. We're going to select that, and that was in our downloads folder. So pardon me, wrong one. Our downloads folder. So we select this here image that we just downloaded, and we put it in here just by pressing the open button. And the other thing is, this is where we're going to create the chart, and I don't want to create it there. I want to create it to another directory. So I press this, and we go to the E drive where I do my chart testing, and that is where we're going to create the chart. So we save that. So now it's chart testing. So it's all set now to create a georeference image, an MB tile. The depths are unknown. And it's going to create it from this image. Now if you don't give it a name here, it will use this here name, which is kind of long and maybe not so useful. So we can give it an actual name. Here, Darrow. Yeah. Arrow. And now it's all set, so we press create chart. And it created it. It took 4 seconds. Usually it's faster than that. Okay, so now it's put it in this directory here. What we want to do is look at it on OpenCPN. Okay, just before I leave here, if you don't have Sat2Chart installed, I'm going to leave a link in the description of this tutorial of how to install Sat2Chart. So that's what we're going to do. So the next thing we want to go is display it on OpenCPN. So we go to OpenCPN here. Here's OpenCPN. It's only displaying the CM93 charts for that area, and it displays the area we selected. So what we're going to do now is go to the options, charts, and you notice we have our directory here, the one that we put our chart in. So all I have to do is scan for charts, and there's our chart, and we just look at it, and there it is. Now what I'd like to do is compare the Copernicus image with one from SAS Planet. So here is the Copernicus image. You can see the marina here, and here is the same thing on SAS Planet. And right now the map being used is the ArcGIS imagery. Okay, so that's what it looks like, and we're at zoom level 15 here, and it looks approximately the same. You can see the same marina, you can see the slips there. What the difference is that I can actually on SAS Planet zoom in on this to a much higher zoom level, and you can start seeing more and more detail. This is at zoom level 16, and this is 17, and you can actually start seeing some of the boats in the marina here. Now if we go back to Copernicus, you unfortunately can't do that. We're at the maximum resolution here, so if I zoom in a little more, we don't see any more detail. We don't see all the boats like we did on SAS Planet. So the Copernicus image here is approximately the same as SAS Planet's zoom level 15, which is quite usable, and you might find it useful for getting a very recent image of the area that you're interested in. Okay, in summary, we showed you what is Copernicus. We showed you how to log on to it, and I reminded you that you have to create an account, and I wonder that the logon message may go to your spam folder. So if you don't get it in your inbox, take a look for it in your spam. The other thing we did is we logged on to the Copernicus browser, showed you how to do that. We selected the satellite imagery and the date and cloud cover, and we selected a layer, and then we downloaded the TIFF image, and that image had the georeferencing data in it, which allows us to create a chart from the MB chart from sat to chart. So, thank you for watching.